Back in 2024, I made a duo home for our mermaid slash spellcaster sim family. This was the first time I had ever created a Sims build from scratch. I had so much fun creating it and I knew I had to make more. So today, I am one-upping my original mermaid homes with a massive mermaid community. I tried to make my video one part, but this build was just so massive and took so much time that this will be multiple parts. Hopefully it's just 2, but it might be 3. As they are uploaded, I will create a playlist for my occult builds so you can find them all. A new PNG tuber, so let me know what you think. If you prefer my real face or the PNG tuber, just let me know in the comments. If you like this build, like and subscribe for more Sims builds and Sims content. Starting this build was difficult because I didn't have much of a plan in mind. My basic idea was like a large mermaid palace on the water with 2 to 3 surrounding little homes. So this little circle platform that I placed becomes a lighthouse later on, which I think was so fun. And I really liked how that looked before I raised it up, so I copied it and I later used this as a deck for another home. My main idea was to go ahead and start with a large square platform in the middle of the water, and I knew I wanted a nice pool to be floating on top of the platform, so kind of like a water on water type of deal, just because it's cool. Why not? So I kind of struggled with knowing what I wanted to do here. This was probably the hardest part to visualize. I didn't know what height I wanted the platforms to be above the water, and I didn't know where I wanted the rooms to start and such, so I kind of struggled with that. Here I go ahead and add the pool. I was unsure if I could even use a pool on a water lot, but you actually can as long as it's not on the ground level, so that was good. I never work with the pools outside of slapping a simple square pool on a Sims house in their backyard, so this was very new to me. And I was kind of trying to push the limits of what pools can do, at least like as much as I could push them. And it definitely made it hard to work with, but it paid off in the end. Here I'm going ahead and adding the little homes on the side. I have one on the beach, one beside the big palace, and then one right in the middle of the water that you do have to swim out to. It might be impractical, but it's very cool, so it's okay. Plus, for a mermaid sim, that's probably not a big deal. I adjusted the layout some, I raised that tower up. I still haven't made it the lighthouse, that idea hadn't clicked yet. But here I am, moving everything and trying to just get a good layout going, so I know what I'm doing in the first place. This is probably the messiest it is. I went ahead and changed the foundation of each of the houses so I could visualize the build better. It was kind of hard to see what I wanted everything to look like without the stilts, because I knew I wanted everything to be on a stilt foundation. Here I adjust that one for the deck of this house. I go back to editing the pool here. I was a bit confused on what I wanted to do. If I wanted a room to be accessible where the pool was, like beneath it, and what I wanted to do with that room in the first place. So I spent a bit tweaking the height and such of the build because I'm still not quite sure what I'm going for. I decide to raise up some of the other houses because they're a little low for my liking. I decide to move that one house on the beach and make it a little beach hut. instead of a home. Getting a bird's eye view to see everything. Time to readjust our main platform, that is our Mermaid Palace, and fix the layout of everything because I want it to be more centered than this. So I go ahead and connect these two big platforms to make the palace, and then I move this little one over to be another home, and the lighthouse also gets pushed over a bit as well. I struggle a bit in this build with the layers. I don't usually build a lot of very tall houses. Like I said, I'm very new to building as it is, and so I definitely struggle with that, but I wanted a lot of volume in this build. I definitely wanted the palace to be like grand and huge, especially compared to the other little houses surrounding it. I want it to stand out as somewhere a bunch of mermaids could hang out and another mermaid family could live inside. Here I have a floating platform. I don't know what I was doing here exactly, but I do figure it out, so don't worry. I put that wall up and it sort of clicks for me what I want to do with the build. I am trying to kind of have an under the palace area where you can access the water as well, which was a very bold choice. Here I am trying to fix the two platforms and connect them into one. Probably not the most efficient way though, I'm looking back on it. I add fences to everything because again, it's just easier to visualize stuff for me when I add in stuff like that. And along with stairs, that also helps a lot. I decided to add a second story to some of the houses as well, because they definitely needed some more shape to them. That house, I kind of added a little entryway, kind of like a Skyrim house, if you know what that looks like. I'll put a picture of it up in editing so you can see it. Here I'm still figuring out what to do with this under part. I really like the direction I took, but it definitely takes me a bit to get there with it. I think right here you can definitely see it starting to come together. Here is where I decide to go and add rooms on each side to make the build make more sense and actually have like support underneath it, so it's not just a floating platform. I was very scared of my game crashing because I did have a crash before recording, and I just saved a whole lot, probably like 10 or more times. I probably saved every 20 minutes or every time I did something like good. I definitely recommend constant saving in The Sims when you're building, especially a large build. Here I am kind of tweaking the upstairs part of the build and trying to make it look good with the bottom part. I think you can kind of see what I'm going for here now. You can kind of see almost like a fishery, how they have the open water that goes into the building. Here I struggle with these walls for a bit, and sadly it's not till later where I figure out why they didn't look right, and all I had to do was pull them back one more time, but I don't figure that out until later. I would love to make a mermaid castle, so this is kind of like a mermaid palace, but I would like to make a traditional looking castle for a mermaid sim. I think that might be one of my next builds I do, Let me know if that's something you would like to see. I also have an idea for another mermaid build with the ability to put water inside of your homes. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Sadly, you can't really put water inside the builds on a water lot, so we'll have to pick a different lot for that. It's so hard to resist not working with the water lots for mermaids though. Here I go adding the entryways and some stairs so I can actually see what I want this area to be. It does get changed again though. I had some trouble picking out what entryway I wanted. I settled on more of the sliding doors than just the open ones. Time to add columns. Columns again are another piece that just help me kind of see what I'm doing and kind of add some like support to a build that might just look like kind of silly. I really wanted one in the direct middle there, but I couldn't, so I just went for a double. Looking back on it, I do change it later, but it was a bit too much on the columns doing that. Here I am debating if I want that many columns or not. Now, the ladders took me out. I was trying so hard to get these to work, and they kept clipping with the foundation, and I couldn't place them with bb.moveObjects on. I could barely place them with it off. I couldn't place them with snapping, and I had to use free placement, so that was a mess. I add some stairs, and then I realized I was kind of dumb because I didn't have any of the decks made for the houses, so I went and added some decks instead. For the palace, to get some more of that volume and different layers, I decided to use platforms. This is a very heavy platform build, I would say. But I decided to kind of have like some rooms and floors kind of act as some stairs instead of just putting stairs. I said it before, but this is really where the build starts to come together. Especially once I have the decks placed down and the stairs, it starts to piece together a bit more. I struggled putting the deck on this house, as you can see. I would really love Mermaid Sims to get a rework, because I do love them, but gameplay-wise, I think they could do just a bit more. So the way I went about making this little beach hut is I just decided if I put some huge entryways on each wall, it will kind of just look like a little hut. It actually worked out way better than I thought as I added on everything else, like the roof and such. Now I can finally add the stairs. I did add stairs to this, and I do regret that later on I take them off. Instead of adding stairs, I just decided to lower it to the ground a bit more, and I'm sure Sims can step up there, but if not, we'll fix it. I don't know the limitations of Sims going on platforms, but I'm pretty sure a 1 to 2 different rays in a platform they can walk up. I'm hoping it's at least they can go up one platform level. If they can't go up one platform level, I'll have to make some changes. Here I struggle with these stairs for so long. Like, I could not get these stairs to work for me at all. I wanted them to have a bend, but I realized you can't make it like a thicker step. But then I found out that you could after, but I had already settled on having no bend. It's okay though, because I like how they turned out. Here I am adding the stairs to our palace. So I really wanted this to look almost very, very grand. So I wanted some big stairways and just some nice, cool steps you'd have to go up to get into it. Okay, now I'm revisiting the back of the palace. I didn't really know what to do with that quite yet, so I moved on to the front. And I decided to add a little platform here that will be another beach hut, kind of like the one that we were just working on the beach. I think right here is when I get the idea to make this into a lighthouse. So I was really messing around with this to see what would make it look most like a lighthouse. Now it was time to add some half walls and fences. I didn't want it to look like Sims could just fall off of this platform and hit the ground or the water. So I decided some half walls would look better than fences here. I kind of wanted a mix of fences and half walls. Here I am dropping another save yet again. But I do leave some fences in the back of the house. I also changed them from the Sulani one. It's really cute, but it just didn't fit the vibe of the palace and was better on the other houses surrounding it. Now I'm adding fences to all the other little houses. Back to the top part and the back part of the palace here. I think I finally figured out how to fix those walls right there. And I decided I wanted some more shape up on top. So I made it a bit smaller and raised this level. I sort of wanted some more towers, but I didn't know how to achieve this. First, I went with a symmetrical kind of look here. Looking back at this, that's actually pretty cute. I thought it was pretty cute, and then I zoomed out and I didn't like it as much. As you can see, I had like a really awkward shape on both of these that I had to go back and fix. See, like from afar, it just did not look too good. You can see I instantly regret that. Here I am eyeing it up, and then I realized that with the lighthouse on that side, I want the tall tower to be on the opposite side of the lighthouse. It looked a bit awkward from the side, so I did pull this back as well. Here I go to actually start doing the lighthouse effect on this little tower. And I wasn't quite sure how I wanted this to look. I didn't look up a reference of a lighthouse or anything, so this was just from my mind. We are moving on to doing the roofs on all the buildings, and this is probably the scariest and the most fun part. I used to dread doing the roofs of a build, but now I kind of like the challenge, and it can kind of be the most entertaining part of the build. With the exterior, at least. When it comes to roofs, I always sort of go for the smallest shapes first. I find that they're the easiest to build on first. Here I go ahead and get this first house on the beach. I just wanted to go for a simple kind of like A-shaped roof with another protrusion on the side. I don't have the vocabulary to really talk about the roof shapes. I don't know much about building and architecture, but I thought this looked cool, so that's what I did. Here I am cleaning it up. I just do what looks cool and explain it the best way I can. Dropping another save. For the house in the water, I went for just a simple slope. I like the asymmetrical roof, and I thought where it was the smallest house, it would look really cute, and it's just in the water, so it's really fun. And I plan to do some stuff with that open wall facing out of the lot. I put a small little simple roof on the beach hut, just something to pretty much cover the top and not really have much shape to it. It's really flat with a slight overhang. I copy and paste it over here to the other beach hut. It did not have a ceiling on, so I fixed that real quick. I had issues aligning this up for some reason, but I finally got it. Moving on to the other small house, I decided to start with a A-shaped roof and just put this on like the little entryway part. And then in the back, I decided to put another one, but larger, and for some reason I put it to the side like this. It obviously didn't look good. I don't know what I was doing here, but I will fix that. You can see I kind of catch on and I'm like, huh, I don't really like how that looks. I don't know what is going on. I tried to fix it with like another piece of roof and I was like, wow, I don't like that. I moved on to the palace and added some walls on the side. I kind of wanted that to be a walkable area. Again, playing with that volume of our palace, having a lot of usable space for people to walk around and hang out on. I'm trying to fix the little building up here on the top because I want that to be its own house as well. Here I am adding some walls. Readjusting these roofs. Like I said, doing the roofs is probably the hardest part for me. It is very fun for that reason, but it's definitely very difficult. Here I am messing around with this. This takes me a bit to get really like how I want it to look. But we do get there soon. I really wanted one of these round roofs on the tower part of this house, and I was trying to play around with that, but the way I wanted the roof to be shaped, it always had some clipping of the wall, and I didn't know how to fix the clipping on the wall. I decided to layer 2 different shapes because this has worked for me in the past with making roofs. But it took me a bit to get the hang of. That's my biggest advice is if you're struggling with a circular part or like a circular roof, just double it up with another one and you can usually kind of cover any gaps or clipping that you see. Honestly, layering is very important. I think that's really what I had to learn to get better at building roofs is layering and covering mistakes with other pieces of roof, just disregarding the layering you have to do. I kind of got a grasp of what I was doing here, and now I was just covering up little pieces at the bottom and the pretty easy stuff to build on, so it wasn't too bad.
A few moments later.
I'm still struggling with this part of the roof. Now I'm just going in and covering these really easy to cover spots of the top of the house. They just need like a flat, simple roof piece on them, so it's not too hard at all to like fix those. I also didn't like how much space you didn't have in between the half wall and the like tower pieces of the building. So I wanted to extend that a bit. Here I moved the pool and stuff to fix that. Fixing the half wall and everything. Giving it more space just makes it look more walkable and makes more sense in my mind. Here I am trying to fix this roof that I could not get to look good. I went ahead and painted some of the walls because I was moving on to the point where I wanted to see how this would come together. I go back and fix the foundations of the palace. I decided that I would rather have the blue stilts than the brown stilts on the palace building, and I was going with a lot of blue. Now I am changing the foundation of the beach hut and changing some of the colors of the house's foundations as well to have some variety. Adding some walls to our beach hut and some of the other houses. Look, with the roof color, it looks so much better. It really comes together once you start adding the walls and roof coloring. I wanted each house to have a different set of colors and shades of brown. I love that variety in a build. For the bigger beach house, I went with the metal roof instead of like the straw. And I think that green is so cute against the other palace right next to it. Sadly, I can't color the majority of the lighthouse tower, but I can change the color of the roof and stuff. I like the shade of this roof, but looking at it now, it's a little ugly, especially on the lighthouse. I don't really like the tan color of it, and the texture just looks so weird. I really love the glass roofs. I wanted to use a lot of these on the palace, so these come back a lot. The one I use is specifically the one from the Life and Death pack, and it just looks so good. I love it so much. To break up the blue of the palace, I decided my other colors I was using would be pink and green, which is very similar to my past mermaid build, where I did a lot of pink and green. Pink, green, blue, and yellow is a majority of what this build's colors will be, along with some white and such. I wanted this to kind of look like sea glass and seashells, kind of inspired, especially this top part here. Since that tower is layered with two roofs, I thought it would be cool to have the glass one kind of encasing the other roof. It's a little out there, but I thought it looked really cool. I love these shingles. I was looking for some good shingles that can give a shell vibe. I think what I settled on definitely hit the mark. That tan roof comes back to play on that small tower, and when used on a small piece of roof, it actually didn't look too bad. I opened up this wall down here at the pool because it was just too closed and I wanted the build to be more open right here. This is where I really have to mess around with the shape of the pool, and the pool kind of gets the better of me here. As you can see where I moved it, there was some issues with the floor and the wall, and this took me a bit to fix. It wasn't too bad, but it took me a bit. Here I am, still fixing this pool. For some reason, it had like a wall around it, and the pool wall itself, I had to go back and fill it in. It was really weird, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. I think it was just because I moved it and the pool was a weird shape to begin with. I decided to kind of just make the pool a more simple shape. I was debating adding more walls here. I wanted the walls to connect to the pool. I thought it would be really cool to have an area of the palace you can access from walking and from swimming too. I do go with a smaller arch and a bigger one on the other side. Usually I would like to keep it symmetrical, but I thought it made the most sense to do it this way. Going to the back of the house again, I look at the bottom deck area and I add some sprandals. These actually looked really good. It helped add some support to the design and it just made the house look more stable. I go ahead and add some sprandals to the other houses that are going to have some closed decks as well. I just remembered that I had roof pieces here and go to fix these. I thought about stretching it all the way across, but I'm pretty sure I do change this later. I'm pretty sure I edit it down. I tried to add some roofs to these back decks here. Here I am trying to eye it from a distance. I decide against it. Now I'm going back and trying to add more wall colors. I don't want everything to be the same blue, but I need something that really looks good with the blue as well. I really liked how the green version looked. Here I'm just placing stuff down with really no order, just trying to see what swatches I like against this blue. I did like the pink and the green. The white tile I liked as well, but I don't believe I used it. Back at the front of the house, I go back and look at the kind of platforms area I have. When you have a tall platform, I realized you can't really change the color of it with anything, and it's just a gray that stands out very strongly. You can't change the color of it with the flooring, the ceiling, the walls, anything. So my best case scenario was to just cover them with half walls. So I do swap out my fence for half walls in a lot of parts of this build just to cover the platforms. But it's really not a big deal because a lot of the cases I do have to do that. The half walls look a lot better than the fences. Here I am replacing the fence with the half walls so I can cover up this gray on the platform. If anyone knows how to fix that, please let me know, or if anyone has any tips in general, please shoot them my way in the comments. I will read them all because I am down to take any advice since I'm so new to building, and I'd love to improve. Here I am getting a quick eye for it all, and going back to the top of the house, I start to add the friezes and stuff. I really love this dark green one, especially on the house on top of the palace. My stupid boyfriend just walked in. I have to edit that out. I'm going back and adding all of these to the builds. I add these anywhere they're possible. I wanted to add a variety of them everywhere. Every single one that I wanted to use, I was going to slap it in this build somehow. I decided to go with a more dark wood color for this house, so I changed the foundation and decided to revisit kind of what I was doing with each house after this as well. Here I am adding some dark green to the bottom place. Here I am trying to add trims everywhere even though it's not letting me. Making sure I don't miss any walls, especially where the interior is a bit of a mess right now. I haven't even gotten to go look at how the wall situation is in there. I'm making sure that they actually do get placed on every wall because they can skip over if you have a closed room. They will just surround a room. They won't surround the whole build. You have to hit every room. For the room with the pool in it, I was thinking one of those situations where the glass is on the pool and you can see inside would be really cool. It is a little weird because you can see people swimming and stuff, but it's really cool. Cool overrules practicality right now in this build. I was just testing right here if you could use an opened window. And I had never seen the two-way mirror, and I was actually checking if it really was a two-way mirror. So I placed that down for that reason. I was debating between these three colors. I liked how they all gave a sea glass vibe. I was thinking of doing an alternating pattern of all of them. I still might do that, or I might just do a single color. I had to go back and fix this room with the pool anyway, so I had to take all the windows off in the end. But I will go back and fix that when it is time. Here is the alternating pattern I had planned. It might be a little too much. I'm going to revisit this when I actually go to do the interior of this room. I was just kind of curious to see if it would even work, because I had this idea in my mind and I just wanted to see if I could actually execute it. Quick zoom out of the house, and I'm going back to the back of the house to start painting more of the walls. Here I wanted to make sure that glass roof actually was like peering in, and it was. I actually didn't know you could take the ceiling off after you place the roof. Here I am checking with the light source because I really couldn't tell. I'm copying over the beach hut texture to the other beach hut and adding the entryways. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with this like little beach hut thing, but I thought it was really cool and just added some nice shape. Here I make it blue. I do go with the brown to have some matching colors to the other beach house, and to also break up the amount of blue that is in the palace build, because there is a lot of blue right now. Here I am messing with the raising of the platform here as well. I decided it would be cool to have stairs. It's a little pointless, but it is cool. Once again, cool overrules practicality in this build. That's just our motto for this build, I think. Including the house you have to swim out to. That's just our motto. Here I am changing the arches here. And I decided to make the pool just a little bit smaller. That's why I have to go back and fix the windows anyway. I thought the pool looked really cool how it was, but it just needed to be a slight bit smaller. My fastest way of fixing it in my head was just getting rid of the pool completely and making a new one. I did put these in the corner to save the 3 I wanted just in case I reuse them. Now it is time to go back in and make a new pool. I start with the circular shape again and stretch it across for our new pool. And this time I go a bit wider than longer. I scratch that and start over once again, just so I can have it more in the middle. Trying to achieve that symmetry. I moved it over here and then I was like, huh, that gap is actually really cool. And then you have another way to get into the palace. And I was like, huh, that gap is actually kind of cool down in this room as well. And I can still fit the windows on it. So I kept this. I put a half wall down here so you couldn't just fall into this hole. But I was like, wow, more open water in this down below area of the palace. And it looks pretty cool. I really wanted the fun shapes, so I went with this, and what I do for the top deck, I think you'll really like. So first I started with just putting a half wall around it. Obviously I wasn't just gonna leave it like a hole in the floor, but I start with a half wall and then I realize it closes up, leaving me with both the shape down there and the shape up here. I tried taking the half walls off to see how it looked, but I didn't like that. Then I decided, what if it was another platform? I threw a little roof on top just to see what it would look like if it was almost a little gazebo. A little gazebo in the middle of the palace in between two pools, and I was like, oh, this could be really cool. So I stretch out the roof and I try to fit it to make it look pretty good, and with some slight overhang, it kind of works. I was like, I definitely want it to be glass as well, obviously. And I was like, huh, this might be it. I cycled through just to check if that's the one I wanted, and it was. So I made the ceiling invisible, got rid of it, and there you go. Now, with some columns, this is really about to come together. I put some freezes and trims on just to see what exactly I could combine together to make look like a cool little gazebo roof. I was debating between brown to balance out the brown around the design, but I'd go with the green to match the frieze behind it. Here I am resizing it so you can actually see those little green sprandles I just put on the gazebo. I am adding the columns, and they are light green and they are so cute and just match perfectly with this frieze. The little staircase up to it, I thought it was so cute. I could just imagine some chairs here and who knows what, some really cute possibilities for this little spot. Here is where I changed the sprandles of the room behind to the for rent pack because I loved how the blue, white, and green looked, and it kind of looked like sea glass. I added some flooring to the gazebo just to see what it looked like because I was so excited to just visualize this, and I decided to throw some flooring down. The flooring for the palace gets me so hard later. I went through so many combinations and I just could not settle on one floor at all. Instead of worrying about that, I threw around the possibility of putting fences around the pools. First, I started with one that would kind of match the gazebo, and it looked really cool. It looked pretty cool, but I didn't like the idea of the pool not being accessible from all sides. I thought it would be kind of cool if you actually had to go in and then get into the pool, but I kind of just liked it to be open water instead. So Sims could have the option to swim into the next room. Instead of a fence, I just opted for a pool lining. And there was a really cute green one that matched, but I went for pink just to break up the color some and combine some more pink into the build overall. Here I am just repainting some of these walls I was missing, just to get rid of some of these glaring white walls. I revisit the top part of the palace to kind of finalize what I want for the walls up here. I definitely wanted the green and pink. I did not want the white, so I got rid of that. I come back to the lighthouse here and color it and decide that I do not like the top of it. I changed it to glass and I thought that was so cute because the light can come out of it and it just looked way better than any other roof. I really wanted to try and get some wood walls to work, but I think tiles were really where it was at for this build. Trying to use anything besides like tiles and masonry for this build was kind of hard because I had just already accepted that tiles and stuff was where it was at. The wood was very hard to incorporate. I go down and fix some of the half walls that still have white on them because I don't want to leave anything unfinished. Even if I do change the walls later, I would rather them already be blue than white. Here on the tower, I wanted to see how these vines would look, but I didn't really like it. I thought it might work, but it really didn't. Here I am struggling to find out what to do with this. I tried this Solani one and I didn't like it. And I decided to go with a white because there wasn't a lot of white in the build and I thought it looked really nice. I wanted to break up the blue as well, so I was looking for a good alternative and it took me a bit, but I just decided to go with the exact same shade of blue, but instead it was a different shaped tile. Here I put down a blue wood that looked really good, but I still didn't really love how it looked. There, I'm trying a gray, still didn't love it, and then I just went full green and I was like, you know what, that works. Quick save, and we are done. Thank you all for watching. If you're ready for part 2, please comment below, like and subscribe for more Sims content and game content in general. I do play other games as well, but right now I'm focusing on a lot of Sims content. Let me know if there's anything you would like to see specifically. I do plan to play Skyrim, and I would like to try Civ 7 as soon as it comes out. So if you want to see that, then stick around. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!